Hey folks, Dave from here from Nerdarchy, for nerds, by nerds, hanging out with this nerd.
Dave the Nerdarch.
And we got a pile of stuff in front of us today.
A lovely pile of things.
We came back from GenCon, and we brought some stuff back with us, as well as we also had some of our Kickstarter stuff come in that we had gotten extras of to give away. We'll be partnering with Deck of Many next month for their Kickstarter and beyond. And they sent us a bunch of stuff to give away. So we got lots of cool stuff going on. Like, I'm going to start here with some of these cards that we were giving, like as prototype stuff to kind of look at. I mean, we're not going to be able to show them probably well, but we can kind of talk about them a little bit. So so they're going to be doing a Kickstarter for spells, and the Kickstarter is going to be spell cards, right? But not your normal spell cards. These are holographic spell cards.
They look really sweet.
Like, do I think this is going to add a ton of value to your D&D game? No, but are they really cool? Yeah, they are. So it reminds me of being a kid and collecting. You know, you get the foil packs or the special pack. You get the special card in there.
I still have my foil Ghost Rider. Yeah,
like these are all nothing but, here, you can take a look at this. These are nothing right there. We have Fireball, Acid Splash, and Dancing Lights. They're super cool. And then we also have, you know, some of their monster cards. And, you know, these are ones that they gave us to kind of check out. It's cool because you got, you know, you got the picture of the monster on the front and what it is, as well as on the back you have all the stats and stuff, which is just kind of convenient and cool. You know, things like the baby mimic as opposed to the full-grown mimic. So Deck of Many's also sent us stacks of their Deck of Many things. All the different ones.
Things, monsters.
We got NPCs, conditions, weapons, things, monsters, 3, 2, 1, and then more of the same. So these are going to find their way into our giveaway bin, of course. And you may be asking yourself, well, how do I get these stuff when you give them away? That's pretty simple. We automatically enter you if you happen to be a patron, or you can go to the website and there's a form you can download, fill out, and mail to the P.O. box, and that'll give you an entry as well. Which neither of those things are affiliated with Patreon or YouTube or anything really.
Except Nerdarchy, they're just us.
No, I'm denying that as well.
Oh, okay. Even not Nerdarchy, actually just Ted.
Just because he's not here. Oh, by the way, if you're wondering, where's Ted? Ted is, I don't know, we got space on the shelf.
Why you keep showing me these things?
Got space on the shelf?
I don't know, they're Ted shelves. I don't think we've got much more space.
So you might be wondering and asking yourself, where on earth is Ted? No, he is not with Waldo today. He is hanging out with his family. It is his birthday. I believe they're canoeing in a thunderstorm.
Happy birthday, Ted.
James suggested that we left him at the con.
Oh.
He may have wanted to stay.
Yeah, but he would be sorely disappointed come Monday, Tuesday, when all the stuff leaves. He'd be like, but GenCon.
It all got packed up into a suitcase and went away.
I think Ted enjoyed his first GenCon. We shot 21 videos, 3 of which we shot over the course of 3 days. So, you know, we've got, they're not really interviews, they're like Nerdarchy videos, but with a special guest. And we have like people like BJ Hensley, Monty Cook, Keith Baker, Dan Dillon, James Heck. So we got some really cool people to come in and chat with us.
Yeah, I've been reading some of James Heck's stuff over on D&D Beyond.
Yes, he's a writer over there. I believe James Intercosto is also writing over there. You know, in addition to all the videos they're doing, they have tons of content. So, you know, our GenCon experience was kind of a blur. It was just like meeting with people and shooting videos. Thankfully, we had Jake with us, who was doing a lot of wrangling and scheduling for us, because I basically just put a post up on Facebook. I'm like, hey, we're going to set up stuff. Do you want to come by and shoot videos? Respond to this post. And, you know, and then Jake kind of went through the thread to see what people responded. I also did a similar one over on Twitter, and got some responses over there. So Jake did a really good job of wrangling everyone. Also, Nerder Doug was with us and helped out as well. Because we have a lot of buttons to push when we do a shoot. So we need extra fingers and extra eyes on things as well. So
because each one can only be used once. So
unfortunately, Ted's not here because he came back with a lot of stuff from GenCon.
He'll have to show it off next Saturday.
He will have to show it off next Saturday. Definitely lots of minis. Every time I came back to the room, he had more stuff. So is I think how it pretty much worked.
And there was, what was it? Extra suitcase space was made available for him. Was it enough extra suitcase space?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
We do have a question if you want to take it real quick.
Sure.
Edward Fleming asks, what was the best non-D&D RPG at GenCon? Not a supplement or adventure. I imagine he means
what do you think, Nate?
I don't know. I'm going to give you my answer right after Dave.
Yeah, Nate didn't actually make it there. Oh, honestly, we did not check out that much. Really, we wanted to connect with people that we talk to online all the time, more so than hang out in the vendor hall. I know Ted might have, but I don't even know really what the newer games are that were in the vendor hall. To be honest with you, I couldn't even tell you.
I didn't see a lot of the smaller ones. I think for potential Wrath and Glory.
Yeah.
And then for just how interesting it is, the Pathfinder playtest would be.
Yeah, and then with that stuff, it's kind of we started interacting with it before GenCon. So, so it didn't feel like we discovered those at GenCon. I mean...
you already knew about certain ones before.
Yeah. Aaron, the PR guy from Paizo, popped in, and he did a video with us talking about the playtest. We also had Rob McCready come by, and... Did I butcher his name again?
Probably.
It's either Creedy or Creety. I'm not sure which one is.
Yeah.
Mick Creedy. But, he came by to talk about Starfinder with us. So, as for the non-D&D games that I'm really excited for, from GenCon I didn't really see much to talk about, unfortunately. It went by so fast. It was just such a blur. We would get up in the morning, and one of the first things we had to do was to take the sofa bed that we were using, fold it up and make it a couch, pick it up and put it on the bed. So that we could then make space to set up, the filming and
studio space.
Studio space, yeah. So every day we had to set up, basically a space for filming, which took it probably took a good 30 minutes or so after we did it the first time. And then, we would have 7 people a day coming through, and me and Ted would take turns, doing videos with them. So that took up a lot of time. I did get to see the Eye of the Beholder, the Art of D&D documentary premiere with me and Doug went and checked that out. So that was really cool. It was definitely one of the things I wanted to do. It was on my list. And it's it's not done. It's 95% done. But I don't think you would be able to tell. You wouldn't watch me this isn't done. So that was kind of cool. A lot of the artists were there for the showing. So I think for me GenCon was doing that, and then going out drinking with other creators and people that make stuff after the con.
Yeah, you didn't really go into the vendor place at all, did you?
I went in there, but not much. It was I breezed through, took a look, and I was yeah, kind of looks the same as last year. It's just a sea of humanity, and people selling stuff. One of the big things that we going to the cons for is actually seeing you guys. So when we get a chance to run into the fans, that's a big deal for us. We like that. So we do we're not very good at conning, I guess. We don't do the normal things I guess you're supposed to do at a con. It's what can we bring back to the fans as far as giveaways and content. That's kind of what we do. So starting next week, we'll be rolling out our GenCon content, and we're going to kick it off in a big way with Monty Cook.
All right.
Yeah. Ted interrogated him for 25 minutes.
They had a conversation.
They definitely had a conversation.
Yeah, I haven't seen the videos. You've gotten to see them because you were either there or you've reviewed them by watching them. So all right, a video I know nothing about.
It was a lot of fun sorting through those files. It was like spaghetti. There was so many files. So so the stuff that Ted came away with from Gen Con, I got a stack of stuff here, which are some Warhammer.
It's the new card game.
The new card game.
Age of Sigmar.
Yes.
So, Chaos, we have a campaign deck order. We have Chaos as well. Cannot have one without the other.
Should be everything you need to play.
Bam. So someone will be getting that at some point.
Stuff it on a shelf somewhere.
Yeah.
Sorry, Ted.
Then we also have cartography, right? So these are cards, but basically you make a dungeon out of them, and they have stuff in it. It's kind of cool, and even cooler is the fact that our own chief and nerder Doug actually worked on these.
Oh, great!
He actually did the editing.
Yep.
Nice.
The cool part about those is that they come with a free, well, not come with, but you get access to a free PDF that actually is a full module to be used with those dungeon tiles, and then they're dungeon tiles as well.
Nice. So yeah, so it's dual purpose. I like things like that where you get the thing and then you have the download that goes with it.
Yeah, in-depth description and narrative for each room and overarching story.
That was probably one of the coolest things that I saw that I didn't pick up.
So it looks like we got a couple Pathfinder adventures. I'm thinking, or are they supplements?
Unrighteous Villains.
Unrighteous Villains. That seems more like a supplement type book. Yeah, I'm seeing NPC type stats.
Cutthroats and Crew. It's a shark man riding a shark.
Yeah, that is pretty cool. And actually, the Unrighteous Villains, we have 2 copies of those. Yeah. So for
roleplay game compatible with Pathfinder from Legendary Games.
So for our friends that are into Pathfinder, those will be making their way into the giveaway pile.
Zareth Gaming wants to know, just started GMing a Force and Destiny campaign. Any advice? And also wants to say hi to both of you.
Hey, what's going on, Zareth? Force and Destiny. Step 1: get rid of all the Jedi.
Like Order 66 version of get rid of them all, or don't let anyone play one.
I just like Star Wars so much better without the Force. The game anyway.
Yeah.
It's so it just comes down to telling stories. You're in space. You're going to tell different kinds of stories. Figuring out what kind of players you have. That's where your stories are going to come from, especially for a game like that. I would say the biggest piece of advice I would give is avoiding a pitfall that I find a lot of GMs fall into with that game or that style of game is because there's so many larger than life characters. I find that some GMs really struggle to not use them, and the game is so much better if you don't use them, because really as a player I really don't want to come and find out what Kenobi's doing or whoever else you're using or Luke Skywalker. I want to be the focus of the story, me and the group, not these really popular NPCs, and it's real easy to overshadow the players when you do that.
Yeah, I would agree with Dave. Don't ever use the basically, if you could recognize them from Star Wars, don't use them.
Yeah, just make up your own NPCs.
It's just so funny that, like, when we talk about D&D, like, don't overshadow your players. Everybody's like, yeah, that's a no-duh thing. But then the moment you throw out Star Wars or Lord of the Rings, everybody loses their minds.
Like, oh man, I want to have them talk to.
They have to talk. Yeah.
Gandalf and Luke Skywalker.
It's like, what?
And then the next thing you know, the DM is rolling dice against himself, and I'm like, rolling my eyes, and like, it's just like a whole. Anytime the DM is rolling dice against himself, it's weird. Yeah, it's like, why bother? It doesn't add anything to the game or the story. If you feel like you need to use certain things, I would rather hand it either to the players or make an abstraction out of it to where the players make certain roles that dictate how those NPCs did. Like, almost like I'll just make up a new rule on the fly and be like, okay, you got these 10 elves that are helping you, so who wants to be the commander of those elves? Give me a charisma check and we'll see what they did this round, instead of like rolling it all out. So that's kind of
like my thing. Like a swarm instead of
yeah, almost like that. And yeah, but then it's influenced by what the players do more so than me as the GM. So something came in the mail for Nerdarchy, and it's a coloring book, the Dungeons and Dragons Adventures Outline by Todd James, did the illustrating, and it's got some cool, funky art in here. So you know, guys, you know what we do. You know what we does when we get stuff. Goes into the pile. I saw there's a Mind Flayer. I saw a Gibbering Mouther.
I don't know. I think my kids need to have this so they get into D&D more.
This is pretty sweet. Displacer Beasts.
Yeah, it's got a lot of classics in there.
Oozes. Although the oozes are all black, I don't know. You don't get the color of the oozes. Some Yanti. Tarask. They really covered all the bases here. Umber Hulk. Nice. Into the pile you go.
My wife would lose her mind with that.
Yeah, she's like the adult coloring books.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna have to pick that up for her birthday.
Bam. Well, see, you already know.
Yeah.
Nate is literally running out of room over there.
Yeah.
So here, oh my God, that's kind of heavy. We also have a giveaway. We're giving away doing our giveaway for this month as well.
Yes,
so,
we're not completely teasing everybody. We are giving some stuff away.
Yeah, someone did win stuff. Also, we're going to announce the players to my game. So here we have Atlas Animalis. We actually have 3 copies that we're giving away. And this is basically all alternates for monsters like owlbears and displacer beasts and some other things. I forget what's in there completely. But then, like, you can also get the PDF that has the monster stats for 5e D&D. So it's an awesome art book that you're going to be able to put out. But then you're going to also be able to use it in your game, which I love that concept.
There we go.
Yeah, that's one that I was pretty excited about after talking to the writer and the artist.
Yes, Sarah Dallinger is the artist for that book, and we had her come by and shoot a video with us. Also, Andres Walters, he came by. He's Metal Weave Games, so it's his book essentially. He came by and shot a video with us, so that was kind of cool. And let's see, what are we giving away? We're actually going to be announcing the winner for the giveaway, which is Dark Places and Demogorgons role-playing game. I believe that's Eric Bloat. And we also have a copy of Starfinder. We still have one lingering around. At least one. We might have more. So at some point we're going to actually announce the winner for this and give that away. We then also have... I'll be running my fan game. I know I set a date. It's a Sunday. The last Sunday of the month. And I'm going to do it.
Sunday of the month is
2 p.m. Eastern time. I have a calendar somewhere, so you got it? All right. I'm going to be running my fan game, and we will be contacting some people about that.
The last Sunday in August is the 26th.
Okay, the 26th. So 26, 2 p.m. Eastern time. Check your inboxes. Here are the players. Ernesto Rodriguez, Brad Dion, Jason, Kenny Capranol, Godfrey Seven, Nathaniel Coster, John Henriksen, David J. Skoll, Josiah Thompson, and Zero. So, if I called your name, you are eligible for the game, and I will be sending out emails with an RSVP. And if we cannot fill 4 or 5 slots from this list, I will go to the Patreon and put out the call.
Speaking of not filling 4 or 5 slots, I have a game coming up tomorrow, the 12th. I believe it's at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, but don't quote me on that because I can't get into my email right now. So I would say that I am going to need some people, so I will be messaging, I think, Patreon tonight sometime about tomorrow. So it's a fifth level game. It's going to be mostly non-humanoids, Dragon Cult stuff.
Nice. So how many players do you need?
I think I have 2 right now.
Nice.
So I'm going to need 3.
Josh on a Journey wants to know, has Dave been working out?
Have I? No, not really. Fat as ever. I think maybe it's just the way the light hits or the camera hits.
Very slimming.
Yeah, very slimming.
I swear, a good shot.
We exactly. We all shared a room at GenCon, so Jake can vouch for my fatitude. See me walking around without a shirt. Although I do believe I'm going to make an attempt this week to get back into the gym and get my decrepit body keep it from falling apart.
I'm doing the normal workouts where you just mow the lawn and do stuff like that. I think I'm gonna have to chop down some trees.
Yeah, the lumberjack workout.
Yeah, I used to do the lumberjack workout a bit ago, but it's been 6 or 7 years since I've been doing lumberjacking stuff.
Yeah.
So is your game going to be on Zoom?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we always use Zoom, but for you guys to download it, it's free. So you just download it, and we have a paid account, so we can have however many people we need to have on there.
And I haven't had any problem with people downloading it yet. So I say yet because it's technology. So
yeah. Well, I find with the Zoom, it seems like, you know, people who've never used it before are able to get on there and use it fairly easy compared to as much trouble as people have had with Skype and Google Hangouts. Of all the programs, it's like the least resource intensive.
Yeah.
So if you guys have questions, GM911s you want to throw out there, feel free. Because, well, we don't actually get to as many GM911s as we'd like to. With us reducing the schedule, the number of videos we're putting out, it's a lot harder. Before we were doing 10, it was easy to like, all right, we can take 3 of these.
Let's go. Yeah, but
and
now
go
with
to town on them.
basically 3 a week plus the Saturday live chats, not a lot of space for GM911s.
You can still send them. We will start dedicating this time to do more of those as well. So you can definitely send them in. Also, I feel like too when we were doing GM911s more regularly, what would happen is we get more emails with GM911s and than we do, you know, now, because I guess they would see them and be like, oh, how do I do this, and then send it in. It was a commercial for
Yes.
the GM911s. So absolutely. So what are your players doing tonight?
Tonight,
What are they supposed to be doing?
they're supposed to be doing. So far, they have ditched on one adventure I've had written, but I got them back in it. It was just like 10 sessions later. So tonight they're supposed to be guarding a warehouse because some thieves are supposed to be grabbing some goods, and they're going to be there to stop them. So we'll see how that goes. I'm going to do kind of like a warehouse dungeon crawl, I guess is the best way to describe it. Because they don't want to leave the warehouse because they're trying to capture people and catch people in the act. And so I'm going to see how that goes. Some skill challenges are going to be involved. Some fighting of bandits are going to be, thieves are going to be involved. And hopefully none of them get killed by large piles of things falling on top of them. Because it is a warehouse, so got some hazards in there.
Could happen.
Yeah.
So my next game, I'm actually not going to run my normal game because Mark wanted to know about bringing his wife to play the game.
Okay.
And I was like, sure, that's fine, but I don't want to run. Like, she's only played like one game before years ago. So I don't want to run, jump into this game at 17 level. And I'm like, you know what, I'll do a one shot for, you know, lower level party, like 3rd, 4th level. And you and Ted had shot a video that hasn't gone up yet entitled Path of the Dragon. So it really got me thinking, gave me some ideas. I am going to be, so this game is going to be a Dragonborn Kobold game.
Nice.
Although I think kobolds, I'm just going to get rid of their minuses. Because like, none of the other races have minuses. I'm like, what's the point? I'm going to ditch their minuses so the players are going to be all kobolds and or Dragonborn.
Great.
You know, the kind of like I have this idea, and I'll probably elaborate it in some further games as well. But like the name for the campaign, no matter who I run it with, is going to be As the Scout Turns.
Excellent. Andy wants to know, do you think you'll play any more 40k Wrath of Glory?
Well, there's a very good chance that we will be playing some more 40k Wrath and Glory over on Saver Dice. So we definitely have some things in the works over there. I don't know that I can talk about them quite yet. For Saver Dice, we have 3 shows kind of planned. And we're going to be doing, I know one is going to be our Wednesday night show like we normally do. We're probably going to do one show that is EU friendly, so it'll be like during the day. And then we're
So for the evening for the EU?
Yeah. And then, then we're talking about another show that's going to be a little bit different than what we've been doing with Saver Dice. So I don't think I can really talk about that quite yet. So, and the other thing over there is it's not like we probably aren't going to always run D&D. We may like interchange things and run other games. So
I really dig 40K's lore, so any game with it's going to be fun to watch, at least see how everyone interprets it and goes with it.
Ray Ruckus asks, how do you feel about changing the Dragonborn's breath weapon to a bonus action in a homebrew game?
It's funny you should mention that.
I was like, wait, I think we already did that.
Yeah, that was one of the changes we made a while back.
Yeah.
It's because the problem is, even though the damage scales, the effectiveness of the breath weapon does not scale. Literally, no matter what class you are, if you're a Dragonborn, once you get to a certain level, you just always have a better option than using your breath weapon. Unless it's like, oh, well, I can hit more than one creature at a time.
Or if you want to light stuff on fire, they let you light stuff on fire with it.
Yeah, but it becomes very specific that how useful it is. So I'm like, you know what, as a bonus action, it never does so much damage that it's going to alter the course of things by that much. Yeah. And you get to feel cool as a Dragonborn.
I know why they did it. For like the first 3 levels of Adventure League is what it feels like it's appropriate to have it be an action. But afterwards it's like, no, it doesn't make sense to...
You're going to do it like once a fight. So it's not really a big deal in my opinion. So the question is, we like it. We like it a lot. Or the answer to the question is, we did that. That and the other thing we started doing is with crits. To make crits feel cooler, we started doing max damage plus dice instead of just rolling the dice twice.
Because it's less dice to roll too.
It is less dice to roll.
I just look at Ryan and I'm like playing as Thief. I'm like, we're 19th level now. I'm like, oh god, this is gonna take forever. I'm glad he crit, but geez.
Oh, and the other thing too is like, you roll a crit and then you're like double ones and you're like, wow, I could have did better with just one attack. So, or you roll, the dice and one of them's a 1 or a 2. So it makes it feels better, I think.
Question from Tyler: would Hierarchy put out their own book? I'm sure it's autocorrect for Nerdarchy. Would Nerdarchy put out their own book, like something along the lines of Xanathar's or Tome of Foes?
So we have. It's funny you should ask that. No, we've actually been putting out our own content over on our website. You can check the store over there. We have Hit Dice to Heroics over there. We just released Secrets of the Vault, Mageforge, Volume 1 is over there. We have 5e mounts, or Fantastical Mounts. We have that over there. We have some adventures over there. We release content for 5e every month in our Patreon. We just the next one is like 20 pages worth of content. Then we are also working on doing a Kickstarter, and our first book is going to be Out of the Box Encounters, where it was written by Mike Gould and featured on the website, and we're going to take all those encounters and we're compiling them into one book with art, maps. We got some really cool ideas that we're going to do with pawns and also maps that you can lay down on your table. Matt Mercer wrote the foreword for us. It's just us kind of like fumbling through our first Kickstarter and wanting to do everything perfect the first time. So, so we've been working on that forever, it feels like now. And we're going to do some more stuff.
Several months, yeah.
And we're definitely going to be doing more stuff. The idea is we'd like to release a new product over on the website once a month. Also weigh in on that. How do you guys feel about that? Is that too often? Is that often enough? Is that the right number?
Yeah, we've definitely gone with a more piecemeal approach rather than a Xanathar's guide that has archetypes, magic stuff, and all different other kinds of things. We've kind of focused in on one concept and built it out, and then another concept would simply be a different product.
Yeah,
so it's more like a la carte what you want. You want monsters? Well, then there's this. If you want like fantastical mounts, if you want some kind of creature to go along with your player character.
Yeah, so we more like bite-sized chunks, and then it's only like $2.99 is like the standard that we go for pricing.
And we also have a few adventures from earlier on.
I have Honey Drop the Unicorn, awesome name by the way, asking, can the Ranger Beastmaster cast through their animal companion?
They do share spells at a certain level, but theirs doesn't work the way a familiar does. Now, that being said, once you get to shared spell, which is really high level anyway, I wouldn't be opposed to it. It's just a matter of figuring out, well, how does it work with, how would it work with multi-classing? That is actually the tough part. I think mainly to get the beast to do stuff, you have to use your action anyway. So it probably wouldn't affect things.
The benefit, it's at your table, so you don't have to worry about balancing things. It's just make sure everybody's having fun with it and it's not stealing somebody's spotlight.
Yeah, it also depends. Are you asking as the DM or as the player, right? If you're the DM, give it a whirl. See how it goes. If you like it, keep using it. If you're the player, it might be a harder sell on your GM.
And don't come to them saying, Nerdarchy said this.
Yeah.
Altrail asks, what are the chances of the Nerdarchist to create a homebrew class a la Matt Mercer's Blood Hunter or a reimagined gunslinger for Pathfinder?
Is this something we talked about? Like, I don't remember. Like, we definitely have a bunch of ideas for archetypes and subclasses.
Yeah, we've got a pretty full set of archetypes. We just haven't put it out yet. But
I
a
don't
whole
think,
class, I don't think we've done yet.
Because honestly, I just feel like most of the classes cover it. Like other than doing something super niche, like the Blood Hunter. And personally, I don't like the gunslinger that much. Like, there's some aspects that I like about it, and then there's aspects that I don't. Like, to me, I think a better gunslinger is really just a battle master that has access to using gunpowder and firearms. I think the battle master maneuvers are cooler than the grip maneuvers. Now, the thing I did like about the gunslinger was the table for your gun exploding.
That's a very important table.
That is very important. I feel like, your gunslinger should almost be like playing a wild mage. At any minute, it could just explode.
All I have to say is, Nate, put your money where your mouth is. Make a good psionics class.
Wait, did you say that? Or
no, that's me, baby.
Oh, man. I was going to mention psionics, like what our vision or our version of psionics would be. But
it also feels kind of janky to do it because you know that Wizards is going to do it.
Yeah. And they already got stuff out for it. So
how many articles did you write basically mocking up your idea for psionics?
Well, in 2015, I did. There's quite a collection, but there's a final 6, and then there is the everything together in one spot. So, but I think it's 20,000, 30,000 words altogether.
There you go.
But
and people have played them in games.
Yeah, I've played them in games, so I haven't had much issue with it. The thing is, it's not reinventing the wheel, and I feel like they were trying to invent something unique and interesting when they did the Mystic, and that's sometimes difficult when you have a game that everyone's already set on, which is why they should have did it in the first place with the rest of the 12 classes, and then everything would have been fine. So
in reference to talking about content, releasing content, Tyler says that they would love more content, especially if it was something they could physically have, hint, hint. And then Andy said, don't burn yourself out. As for questions, DM Don is in and asking, we are working with PAX to set up a DM-GM camp focused on new game masters. Is there something that you could suggest as most important, rule or so on? Basically, idea to hold on to for a new GM camp?
It's funny because someone actually, we've talked to DM Don, and we've also been talking with the folks from Cardboard Fortress because I think they want to do a GM school for PAX Unplugged, and she just did an introductory email with us. So we might actually be doing something with that as well. Maybe we'll be working with you, Don, on that. So I'm curious to see where that goes. But I think GMs sweat way too much whether or not they're going to mess up or they're going to run a good game.
You're going to mess up.
You're going to mess up.
Yeah, you're going to mess up. But, focus on fun. Find way. So I've run systems on our channel that I wasn't very familiar with. So what I did to make sure it was a good game was I didn't focus on the aspects I didn't know, or didn't know well, I should say. If you go back and watch our Open Legend game, like, I did not have super mastery of that system, but I focused on elements that I could control and that I knew, and and then would lean on that heavily, and then go back to the system. And as I got more comfortable with things, as it progressed, I could lean on the game itself even more. So it really is like teaching new GMs to focus on the things that they can do, right? They can do well, like taking like a new GM taking this book and memorizing it and then running it. Yeah, that's hard. Like, you're probably not going to do it. I know I can't read a 400 page and have 100% accuracy and retention. So what I can focus on, and anybody can focus on, is the story and the characters, both the player characters and the non-player characters, and really try to get the buy-in. Because really that just comes down to storytelling and having imagination, and anybody can do that.
Yeah, player engagement as well as crafting a story together is more important than the rules when you're first starting out, I think.
Tyler wants to know, looking at the Warlock evocations, would it be okay to make prayers for clerics or paladins, something that would give them a little more?
I don't feel like especially paladins.
Paladins don't need anything else. Yeah. So unless you're taking smite away from them, don't give them anything else.
Yeah, the difference is the evocations are specifically built because the Warlock lacks spellcasting or some other method of dealing damage or doing something.
It's the only thing that makes them decent.
Yes.
And, that and Eldritch Blast.
Yeah.
So
you mean what they do every attack?
Pretty much button mash. So I would not do that. Like someone had mentioned making a new character class. Like prayers, that might be something you kind of would use. A system you would go to, a new system. But clerics prayers, I mean, I would call that their spells pretty much, is kind of like their prayers, and they have a lot of stuff they can do with just spell casting. And then you get into the channel divinity and the other things that they get for being a cleric. I think they're doing all right.
Like maybe a spiffier cantrip that costs spell levels. I don't know. I would go there, not give them something for free, make them pay spell levels for it.
You could slave it to magic items. Instead of giving the cleric a +1 something, it can give them a +1 to their cantrips, and it's like prayer beads, something like that.
Yeah, kind of like what they did in Eberron, where they made focuses, arcane focuses that have very specific effects. So they're like minor magic items in themselves, and enhanced spellcasting. The DMG has other magic items like that. I mean, like, if I wanted to help any class, it'd be the Warlock. It's not going to be, the Cleric or the Paladin. The Paladin is just so freaking good.
I will say, playing a Cleric for a long time, from low level to 19th, there are times in combat where it's just like, I'd really like to do something else besides heal you guys. But I guess if I want to live, I'm going to have to heal people. So if you want to play a cleric that's not a healer cleric but does other things, that's where I'd find it difficult. Like having another job besides healer as a cleric for 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons, I see there being an issue trying to do that. So maybe if you wanted to shift that a little bit, if you've already got 2 clerics and you want to kind of try this prayer thing out with people, maybe you can have one of them be like a different type of cleric, like more ritualist cleric than a healing people in combat cleric.
I mean, honestly, if you're going to do that, then I would just model the Warlock, and then that means kind of making the cleric spellcasting suck, to make it work. Like, you'd have to reel back all the spells they get and make it more like the Warlock, where they only get a few, but they're really strong. But yeah, maybe you use the short rest mechanic. It would really just be, but that is the point where you could really just look like a Warlock. So
yeah, you might as well just take the Warlock and just slap some deity,
reflavor it
instead of.
I mean,
instead of a patron.
Isn't there a divine patron Warlock?
Yeah.
Shkidibao.
Yeah, there is. The celestial one, I think.
I bet they heal, right?
Undying.
Do they heal anybody?
They do.
Yeah.
They actually
I can't remember if Undying is Sorcerer or Warlock. All the extra stuff is hard for me to pin down.
It blends in my brain.
Yeah. PHP all day, boy. Altriel has to ask, out of the 3.5 Sonic classes, Nate, what's your favorite?
I like the Soul Knife, really. I'm a Soul Knife guy.
I couldn't believe you were gonna. I was gonna go Soul Knife too.
Yeah.
Boom.
It's the hotness.
The Soul Knife,
man, Psylocke.
Yeah, the Soul Knife. The Soul Knife was definitely special. So, guys, gals, we could use a little help. After we get done here, we're gonna crack open Pathfinder 2nd Edition. We're going to make our first characters.
Never read anything about it.
Haven't really read about it much. And then we're going to do a video and talk about it. Question is, what characters do you think we should make? I know Nate probably has he has an idea, might have his heart set on it.
Well, first I asked the question: is there a Sonic class or anything that I can make a Sonic out of? And I heard there was no. So my options are a bit open at this point.
So I feel like we're obligated, because we do so much with role playing games, even if we are D&D focused, to kind of take a look at Pathfinder. I don't suspect I'll be switching systems anytime soon, but I feel obligated to at least take a look at it and see what's there. We don't want to lose our nerd cred.
Yeah, we gotta at least check it out.
And I'm curious to see what they do. Like I guess we talk with internally as well as with other people, and we're like, well, what are they going to do differently in 2E than they did in 1E? And I've heard people go, well, they're going to how about streamlining it and making it less crunchy? I'm like, no, that doesn't make any sense. I mean, literally, to go in that direction, you're going in the D&D direction, and I would think you would want to stay as far away from that as possible.
Well, I would expect that they would want to do their own thing, right? And
well,
if they
yeah.
streamline it too much. I mean, even if you streamline Pathfinder a little bit, it's still pretty far away from 5e.
Yeah, so I would say they would want to maintain that level of granular control when it comes to building characters and what's involved in it. So, well, it was funny though, because we're talking about bonuses and how they stack. And I think it was Doug that said, well, do they like streamline things? And then Jake shared a screenshot of all the different bonuses and penalties that you get incorporated into an attack. It's like a paragraph.
Like, there we are.
I've looked like a financial officer for the last 2 days, just poring over it over and over again, just ripping my hair out trying to read this dense rule book.
Yeah, he has prepped hard for this character creation session.
Yeah, and we're gonna play. I believe we're gonna play at least a couple sessions to check it out. And that being said, like, I know we say things like crunchy and Jake mentioned ripping his hair out, but this type of a game, there's definitely people it appeals to, and there's nothing wrong with that. You can play and have fun however you want. I just don't imagine we're going to move into that direction and want that much of granularity in our games. Even like the Star Wars system is really kind of crunchy for me. The same with Wrath and Glory had a little bit of that too, I think, but because I played a pre-gen, I feel like it's really crunchy in the character creation, but then after that it feels a lot easier, and it's like a Mutants and Masterminds game where like all the work is front end loaded, but once you do it, the game itself is pretty streamlined and moves pretty fast. So I don't really have too much of an issue with that as much.
Yeah, I'm interested to try it out, see what it is. It's exciting because they haven't done it before.
Yeah.
Aside from when they came out with the original, so.
I do remember hearing a character starting with 3 feats at first level.
What's that? That was standard for a human, right?
Human fighter.
Right? Human
back
fighter?
in the day, human fighter 2 feats, or did everyone start with one? I don't even remember. It's been so long.
In original Pathfinder, I believe it was everybody started with 1, and you got 2 if you were a human.
And another one if you're a fighter.
I play the variant human so many times when I play because I want that feat.
Yeah.
for this Dungeons and Dragons, so it'll be interesting seeing what we can come up with.
Well, I'm curious to see how they do the feats. If it's the same as Pathfinder and 3.5, where it's like, let me stack up 5 feats and I'll do this awesome thing, or if they've kind of went with the model of 5e and are like, you get a feat and then like you get some cool options.
Ray, Ruckus, and Altrell are trying to convince you guys to do the character gen on stream.
Oh, on stream?
I let them know that it would probably be pretty slow and boring because I'm not well versed in it just yet.
Yeah. Yeah, that will not be nearly as entertaining as you believe it will be. We're gonna put that one right next to the wives and girlfriends episode. That was being requested for a while.
Oh yeah.
It'd just be our wives bitching at you guys for how much time Nerdarchy takes away from family time.
Nah, my wife wouldn't be complaining that much. She'd be the devil's advocate for us.
She'd be the devil's advocate?
Yeah.
My wife has come around a bit since the beginning. But it took a couple of years.
Oh, okay. I mean, we're in 5th year, so...
Yeah, we are in year 5. Yeah, I had to actually start generating revenue, and and then she's actually had the chance to go to the events with me and meet people and see that end of it. So that part I think is kind of cool for her. Like she went with us out to LA, and she's been to Origins and seeing
she's seen you in action.
Yeah, kind of. That's what it.
And you're getting a paycheck.
Yeah, well, I think that seeing this on the set for GM tips was kind of made it way more real. Oh yeah, you're a movie star. Not really, but
you've done something you had to have makeup done for.
Yeah.
That's like a tier there.
Yeah. Powder. So let's I guess what time are we at?
Got about 13 minutes left.
All right. So we will announce the winner to the Starfinder book, core rulebook, and Survive This, Dark Places, and Demogorgons, the role-playing game. Double whammy, 2 role-playing games for the price of nothing. And
that goes to our winner, Robert Nemeth.
Nolabert. I'm not sure what that is. You all right?
No, we just got to do something about the flies in Ted's basement.
Well,
I've had enough. I've had enough.
So we will be reaching out to Robert Nemeth and emailing you. Congratulations on your win. Starfinder. If nothing else, we did the Starfinder premiere. Ted played in it. I believe he had a lot of fun with it. And we did the Skittermander game this week, and that was a lot of fun. We had a good time with it. So and the art is freaking amazing for Starfinder.
Yeah, we went through, I think we did a series where we went through the classes.
Yeah, we covered a little bit of it. I mean, is it a little crunchier than we want from a game? Sure, but it also has a lot of really great merits to it as well. So
I would have liked to see some nice space battles.
Some nice space battles?
Yes.
Yeah. And also, there's some games that I would much rather play than run. So Starfinder, I can get behind playing some Starfinder. Do I want to run it? Maybe not. I don't know if I want to read. How many pages we got here? A lot.
If it's Paizo, it's probably 400 plus.
Let's see. I see 521. It's a lot of book, man. That is a lot of book.
A lot in there. To get proficient in, so that you're not stumbling over stuff all the time.
But it's it's $60, so it's less than $10 for per 100 pages or so.
So those 2 things will be going to Robert, and we will email you from nerdarchy@gmail.com.
Yes, congratulations. So the Skittermander game, that was pretty zany. I was disappointed that we didn't die at the end. I really felt like the GM should have murdered us.
Yeah.
Well, it got towards the end, and we had to make checks to make something happen.
Yeah.
And we were not making those checks.
Uh-oh.
So I feel like after 2-3 rounds of not making checks, you should die. Or as the GM, don't require those checks. That's kind of like the thing. But everyone has their own style.
Maybe the other side has a catastrophic failure, something blows up, so now it's looking pretty good for you.
Yeah, so I think the GM was just being too nice, is my interpretation, because up until that point, everything that the GM did was great. It was a lot of fun. He was definitely, he was definitely there to facilitate the game and facilitate the fun. He let us do crazy, wacky things and have a good time with it.
But he expected you to
win.
Pass a few saves or pass a few checks.
Yeah.
And it wasn't happening.
It wasn't, yeah. We should have all been vented into space.
Could
So-
it you breathe?
No,
in that?
no, we were dead. We would explode. I don't know what the
Slowly
rules are.
vaporize into nothing. Yeah.
I don't know what the rules are in Starfinder for being ejected into space, but I know they can't be good, and it would not have been good for us.
It's not the 1980s style Spelljammer where there's a bubble of gravity and air around.
No, we had spacesuits that we took off when we got in, and then so skittermanders are like these stitch-like creatures.
Okay.
That come in multiple, they come in rainbow colors, essentially, and they have 6 arms,
Gotcha.
and they're small. And it's funny because they have this ability called Hyper, which is like once per day they get to do an extra move. So canon in our Starfinder game now is whenever they do that, they basically all look like Muppets. Ah! It just move fast.
What was it from the Modis? That reminds me of those little guys.
Modis?
Yeah, from God's Eye. It's an old space. It's an old space book.
Oh, never read
They
it.
meet the aliens, and the aliens have these little, little helper guys. Those remind me of.
Was it a movie?
I don't think it was ever turned into a movie.
Then I probably have no idea.
It should be.
I actually haven't read nearly as much science fiction as fantasy
Yeah.
and steampunk.
I'm getting into all the old 100-year-old fantasy and sci-fi. It's really interesting. Getting back to the roots of the genres.
So I'd be interested in science fiction. Fantasy, not as much. I feel like I'm a little spoiled on I know I get flack for this. I do every time. Even Tolkien, and people are like, I read that every year. I'm like, why? It's not really that great. It's so slow and methodical. I just don't like that story type of storytelling anymore. I can appreciate it for literature and what it is, but I just like a more heroic, fast-paced story that has action in it and things going on.
You like pulp?
Yeah, pretty much. It's like
Pulp fantasy, sci-fi.
literally, if they made those movies the way the books are written, that's a completely different movie. They're running away again. That's all they do until the very several key fights at the end.
The Hobbit's got a good amount of that in it. They fight. They're running away while fighting.
Yeah.
Did you see the original animated Hobbit movie? That's basically all they do.
Yeah.
This doesn't transfer very well over into the visual media.
Well, when you look at modern entertainment, it just doesn't mesh up. That's all. Nothing wrong with it. Also, there's people that read what is this, Silmarillion? Is that how you say that? Silmarillion. And read that. I'm like, I started reading. I'm like, this is like reading friggin' Genesis of the Bible. Why?
Just list the names of things.
This isn't even going to save my soul. Forget about it.
Yeah, I didn't finish it yet. I read half of it, and I'm like, I gotta put this down for a little bit.
I read half a page.
A little bit's been over 3 years now, 4 years now.
Yeah, you can chalk that up to never going back.
Yeah, some I just finished listening to a lot of things on LibriVox, which is a free audiobook place where people have volunteered to read really old works of fiction. So it's pretty cool.
Even if you look at gaming now, a lot of Tolkien there's a lot of inspiration there for D&D, along with a lot of other mythologies and things.
That's why elves were so awesome.
Is that why?
Gygax would have told you the exact opposite if you just said that to his face, though.
What, the inspiration from?
Yeah.
If you look at it, he says it's from Homer's, but also if you look at as other people came into D&D, his influence may not have been it, but you can still see it in the game, and I'm sure other authors were very much influenced by it. But The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings, they make terrible D&D stories. There's nothing fun about that. Maybe the original D&D, it'd probably be closer to the original D&D campaigns and dungeon crawls you would have did, where it's you're running away or you're just dying.
I don't know. For some people that I've seen online, a party of 13 with an NPC that comes in and saves the day every scene seems pretty appropriate.
I guess, sure. If that's what you're into.
Hey, Elminster. Elminster was pretty much made me feel like he was a Gandalf for a lot of things.
Yeah, that's definitely...
Especially in the books. Came in, told you stuff, left.
Fizzban had a little bit of that. Usually, maybe almost blow you up and then leave.
Well, that's supposed to be like the cliche wizard, in a sense. It's supposed to come in and be all knowy and showy and leave. Save you if you get in trouble.
Except for Fizzban.
Oh, okay.
Fizzban usually came in and messed things up.
He Fizzbanned it.
Yeah. You should do a Wizards of Distinction.
I gotta get back to that.
I don't know if he counts though, because he is technically a god.
Okay, well, for Melf, I read a story with Melf the Arrow in it because there was just not enough stuff on him.
Melf the Arrow.
Mm-hmm. Melf, the wizard.
I know who you're talking about.
Well, I did research. I read the book he was in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Gygax wrote that.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
I thought you were saying there's a character, Melf the Arrow.
Yeah, I think that's his nickname.
Oh.
It's been a while since I read it, so however I read it like 2 weeks before I did the.
And that's how they came up with Acid Arrow.
I think that's why he made an Acid Arrow.
Because they call him the Arrow.
I think so.
That's a weird nickname for a wizard.
Yeah, I think he had like a teleport thing as well. So, read the book.
Josh
or read the article talking about it.
Josh wants to know: there's any plans of you guys coming to Houston soon?
Cody keeps trying to get us to come out to Texas. I forget where in Texas Cody is though.
Not close to where everybody else is out there.
Where's Houston in conjunction with the what is it, Northeast?
I think Houston's on the east side.
Okay, so there's a Northeast RPG convention that I do want to hit.
Because I know Houston's where like a lot of people from Louisiana, when Katrina hit, that they went to Houston. They shipped them out to Houston, so it's got to be relatively close.
Close enough.
Mm-hmm.
So, but also the thing is Texas is so big. Like you drive.
It's not like Jersey, where the longest you could drive in a straight line is 4 hours, and that's pushing it.
It's not even really straight. Like it's like you have to do like this elbow thing in order to get the whole thing. You'd have to like start in Cape May, and you end up in like either PA or New York, and it's only like 4 hours
max.
But yeah, so I don't know when that's going to happen, but that's a convention that I would like us to hit at some point. That is in Texas.
Do you remember what the convention's called?
Northeast.
Oh, okay.
Northeast.
I thought I was describing where it is.
No,
Texas.
it's like if you Google,
right.
if you Google it.
It's kind of weird that it's called Northeast because I feel like we're in the Northeast, being in New Jersey, like the northeast of the country.
It's not their fault. They can't help themselves. They're Texans.
Oh, that's right. Texas is what. Yeah.
It's the northeast of Texas.
Yeah, and Texas is big enough.
But no, so it's a convention and it's a lot. It's like mostly industry people, and it's a lot smaller. But like it's a bunch of industry people that just go there and like run games and play games. So you'd be
like fun.
Yeah, so you'd be like playing the game with the guy that wrote it.
Cool.
Yeah, so yeah, it's like more intimate. So that's on my list somewhere, along with the gods have spoken.
A lot of thunder going on.
Good timing. You got 1 minute.
Along with Gary Con.
Yeah, I'd like to go to that sometime soon.
I would too. We'll have to see.
I think we went to Concoction last time instead of Gary Con.
We did. We were hired to go to Concoction, so we're kind of contractually obligated.
Special guest, man.
Yeah. With that, hey folks, thanks for hanging out with us. We always appreciate it. Until next time, stay nerdy.